Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Of course, our Orioles are in the month of September here in Season 3. Last episode, we played at the Field of Dreams against the Astros. It was a really good game. We ended up winning 9-7. In today's episode, we're not only going to look at the Major League squad, but we're also going to get a minor league update. Since our Orioles have been playing really well this year, I have not talked about the minors a ton, and I want to do that here. Starting in Double-A, the Bowie Bay Sox are 63-41, playing pretty good baseball. Quite a few notable players on this roster, including last year's number 1 overall pick, Xavier Bowman, who's been a little bit disappointing. He hasn't necessarily lit the world on fire like Louis St. John did last year. So no, don't expect Xavier Bowman to be an all-star level player in the majors next season like Louis St. John was this year. I think Bowman is still a year or two away. He hasn't been terrible this season, but he hasn't necessarily been outstanding either. The other main notable player to watch out for is two-way star Obi Yoshihito, who is still hitting the ball pretty well, OPS above 900, and his pitching has really come along. He pitched pretty poorly to start his professional career, but he has done a lot better in his recent outings. This Double-A team looks quite a bit different since the last time we saw them. Some of the mainstays like Adam Hall is gone. Deshaun Knowles is currently injured. The rotation only currently has 4 starters at the moment, and then the bullpen is looking really good. Statistically, our worst reliever this season has actually been Julian Starnes, which is kind of a surprise. His potential has gone down from an A to a B, which is unfortunate. It's not like he's been terrible this year. 3.86 ERA, 1.15 whip. Not quite as good as he was last year, but still pretty respectable numbers. I think that just goes to show how good our bullpen is. So as I was simulating, Max Muncy got hurt, so that's not fun. We'll talk about the Muncy injury once we get to the Major League team. It's not overly serious or anything. But right now, the focus is on the minor league squad. So we're going to talk about them first, including this game on the 9th of September. Hey, that's my birthday, by the way. Taking on the Altoona Curve, the Double-A affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Most of the Pirates' notable hitting prospects are not in Double-A, but they do have quite a few good pitching prospects, including their starter for this game, Braxton Ashcraft, who we'll talk about in a little bit. The starter for the Bowie Bay Sox will be D.L. Hall, who is still an Elite A potential prospect. I think his stock as a top prospect has gone down the past few seasons. He really has not progressed all that much, but he does still have some nasty stuff. Going to try to show that early in this one, striking out the leadoff hitter, Howie Burt, on a 92-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball for his first strikeout of the game. Want to see him do it again? Boom! On the slider against Cal Mitchell. Good 1-2-3 inning of work from D.L. Hall. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. We mentioned Braxton Ashcraft just a second ago. He's been fine as well. 3.85 ERA, 1.45 whip. Like D.L. Hall, he has not been great this year, but he certainly has not been horrible either. So here is Xavier Bowman, the number 1 overall pick in last year's draft. Hits that one high and pretty deep and a left, and that is gone. Solo home run for Xavier Bowman, his 8th of the year, and the Bowie Bay Sox are on the board. If there is one attribute that has really progressed well for Bowman this year, it is his power, and he has really improved in that area. Now, that was not some bomb. That one barely scraped over the fence, but it is still a home run as we can take a look at his beautiful swing. I think even though he's been a little bit disappointing this year in Double-A, you really don't have to worry about his development because I think no matter what, he's going to be star in due time. Charlie Denny now, he has flip-flopped from Triple-A and Double-A this year, doing well with the Bowie Bay Sox, hitting around 310. Gets that one into the right center gap. That ball should drop for extra bases. Denny rounding second, headed for third, and he will get a triple. The Bay Sox offense having no issues of striking early in this game, courteous of the early home run, and now a triple. Here is the two-way phenom, Obi Yoshihito, signed as an international free agent this past season from Japan. He unfortunately strikes out, and that's his big weakness. He has a pretty bad swing and miss rate, and, well, he kind of showed it there. Top 2, Stephen Alamais is up with 1 out, nobody on. He gets the first base hit of the game for the Altoona Curve, so now they have a base runner, and we'll see if they are able to capitalize because of it. Dallas Dobbs, couple batters later, 1-2 pitch. He got completely rocked by that slider. Just a nasty pitch from D.L. Hall. That slider he has is dirty. Bottom 2, Kobe Mayo with a single up the gut into center field. Mayo's had a pretty solid season this year. His progression has been very steady the past few seasons, but I say that in a good way. He's really improved every single season. I think he's probably going to start next year in Triple-A. Gunnar Henderson, the very next batter, grounds it to first, but the throw is offline, so rather than a double play, both runners are safe. The Bay Sox give themselves quite a good opportunity to capitalize, as that'll bring up the very next batter, Chad Spangenberger, who will swing and miss at the 92-mile-an-hour fastball, swing a little bit too late there. All 4 batters Ashcraft has gotten out have striken out. There's another one, this time from the catcher Gunnar Bergeson, another international free agent hailing from Iceland, and the curve did not score anybody. Third inning, it's Omar Cannon up, gets that one into left. Charlie Denny completely misplays it, and that'll be a double. In Denny's defense, that probably would have been a double anyway, but still, you got to make that play. 2 gone now for Cabrera. Hits this one into right. Franco chasing after it. What a catch! Now, Bobby Franco reacted to that ball super late, so I can't give him a ton of credit, but still, that is a Sports Center-worthy catch. Lunging out, doing a somersault on the ground to make the play, and that catch saved a run. Bottom 3, Obi Yoshihito up with 2 on, nobody out. Ashcraft really starting to pitch well now, as Yoshihito hits that one high and really deep in right center field. That one has a chance, and it is caught at the warning track. That ball was hit harder and farther than Xavier Bowman's. Bowman's was a home run. That one stayed in the ballpark. As we go to the 4th inning, Cal Mitchell back up. 2-2 pitch. He's just a window shopper. Say it with me, kids. You know the line, because he's just looking. Hall with his 4th K of the day onto the 5th inning now, and it looks like the shutout is no more. Lauren Kokol with the home run. That was a bomb in the left field. The only question was whether that would be fair or not. Kokol with his 3rd home run of the season, 372 feet. And the Altoona Curve are finally on the board as they tie it up at 1. Johan Vizcaino up, couple batters later, goes down to the 2 seam, so DL Hall getting right back into the thick of things. This has been a really good start for Hall. I needed to see him pitch well today, and he certainly has, other than that home run. Omar Cannon check swings on the curveball. 5 strong innings for DL Hall. Not sure if the Bay Sox are going to keep him in for a 6th or not. As we go to the bottom of the 5th. Xavier Bowman grounds that one to short. That'll end the inning. 5 really solid frames here from Braxton Ashcraft. He kind of struggled early in that first, allowing the home run and the triple, but after that, he has been shut down. Top of the 6th, DL Hall still in, as you can see, for the Bay Sox, as Sean Carrera will get that one into right center field. That'll go for a double. So with 1 out, the Curve get themselves a runner in scoring position as they try to possibly take their first lead of the day. Leo Piedra with 2 away, hits that one into foul territory. Bergeson chasing after it. Is he going to make the play? He will. So that'll end the top of the 6th. That will do it for DL Hall. Really good outing from him. 6 innings, only allowed for a home run. Really good performance from him. It's going to be a bullpen day the rest of the way for both sides as Brian Gomez is in for the Curve. His first batter, Charlie Denny, will get that one past the glove of Alamais for a single into center. So now that the reliever is in, maybe the Bay Sox offense can get back into a groove. Obi Yoshihito is now up. Runner on, nobody out. Grounds that one right between the shortstop and the 3rd baseman for a hit. So Denny and Yoshihito are on. Nobody out still, by the way. If Bowie does not drive in a run this inning, that would be considered a massive failure. Kobe Mayo swings and misses of a running fastball. Gomez really doing a good job of getting out of this jam. And then Gunnar Henderson with 2 away lines that one to the left, and it is caught. The Bay Sox have not done great in this one with runners on base, and well, that would continue there in the 6th. Top of the 7th, Cosmo Cruz is entering, the draft pick last year out of Venezuela, who has been unbelievably impressive this season. ERA right at the 2.3s as he makes a nice defensive play right at the knees to get the out. That rhyme was on purpose. Lauren Kolkol now had the home run earlier. This time he watches a slider go right down the middle. He was handed that baseball in a silver platter. Did he want sprinkles on it too? Bottom 7 now, still tied at 1 as Chad Spangenberger gets that one over the head of a right fielder, sliding into second safely for the double. So again, runner on scoring position with no outs. He cannot fail these opportunities. Gunnar Bergeson lines that one at the pitcher. What a catch by Brian Gomez. That might have saved a run. Great stop by Gomez, and we go to the 8th. Still tied at 1. Howie Burt strikes out. That'll end the top of the inning. 2 scoreless frames from Cosmo Cruz, who was very impressive as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Two away for Jeremiah Jackson, who was acquired in a trade deadline deal with the Angels this past season. Gets that one into right center. Rounding second, headed to third. The throw from a cutoff man is not in time. A triple for Jeremiah Jackson. And now with a runner 90 feet away from home, things could get interesting. That brings up Kobe Mayo. His 2 hits today. Gonna make it a third. Got that one past the glove of the first baseman. Jeremiah Jackson scores pretty easily. Mayo into second with a double. And the Bowie Bay Sox are on the board for the first time since inning number 1. Can they get more going, however? Roansy Contreras is now in on the mound as he faces Gunnar Henderson, who will fly this one out into center, and the curve does make the catch. But hey, Bowie finally got back on the board, courteous of a Kobe Mayo double, and we go to the 9th. Julian Starnes is in for the save. He has been a little bit disappointing this season, but we know him as shut down Starnes around here. Again, Sean Carrera lofts that one over Starnes' head for a single. Smart play by Starnes to duck, or else that could have been, pretty bad. The curve had some trouble getting more base runners on. Stephen Alamais with 2 away strikes out, and the ball game is over. The Altoona curve will fall here in this one, 2-1. A nice victory for the AA Bowie Bay Sox. Really great pitching in this game. DL Hall was good, and then the bullpen with Cosmo Cruz and Julian Starnes both shut the door. The lineup was not great in this game. 2 runs, 9 hits, home run from Xavier Bowman in the first, and then a nice game from Kobe Mayo. He had 3 hits, drove in the game-winning run. But other than that, no one was too notable. Obi Yoshihito ended up going 1 for 4. So now let's talk about the AAA team. They really struggled early in this season, and now they're 28 games over 500. They really turned the tide on this season. I'm sorry, I had to. That was such an easy joke to make. A lot of notable players in this lineup. Xavier Edwards, the main prospect of note, but don't forget about guys like Hudson Haskin, Carmen Sixto, Zufus Polidoros, and Christian Dominguez II. The pitching rotation also has a lot of great prospects, headlined by Grayson Rodriguez, Josh Wolf, Adrian Marajón, and this bullpen is loaded. A back end featuring Asuncion, Brooks, and Hundertwasser. That's pretty nasty. So the opponent today will be the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays no longer have their stacked farm system. Guys like Wander Franco and Greg Jones have been called up to the bigs, and other players have been traded away, like Vidal Brujan to Toronto, and of course Xavier Edwards was traded here, playing against his former organization. Here's a look at both lineups 1 to 9. On the mound for the Norfolk Tides will be Felix Paulino, who has been outstanding this year. 10-5, 2.28 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. He might play himself into the conversation of being a major leaguer next year. 2 away for Kendall Juist, the international free agent signing. He gets a walk. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter Peter Owens, who now has an opportunity to strike, and he draws a walk. Paulino started this inning strong, but now he's starting to get a little bit reckless, as that'll bring up Kevin Padillo. Full count pitch, launches a nuke into left field. You can't forget about it. 3-run bomb for Kevin Padillo, and the Durham Bulls will get off to a quick start here in this one against one of the minor league's best pitchers. Not particularly ideal if you're the Tides as we go to the bottom of the first. Domingo Robles making his second start of the season. His first one was not pretty. 3 1/3 innings, 7.36 ERA. He's really looking to rebound here. We're going to start in the bottom of the second as it's Willie Calhoun up at the dish, and that one will go off the wall out in right field. A sliding double for Willie Calhoun. He's one of the rare left-handed batters who are actually better against left-handed pitchers, so he should have a pretty big game today. Zufus Polidoros now 1-2, swinging and miss. Like most batters who hit left-handed, Polidoros is better against righties. He's not like Willie Calhoun, unfortunately. Jamie Ormelas up in the top of the third. This one will go into center. He's going to round first, headed to second. For most batters, that'd be a single, but because he's fast, that'll be a double. Paulino is starting to pitch a little bit better after that sloppy end of the first inning. Interesting decision here by Paulino. He tries to throw the runner out at third, and he is unsuccessful. A gutsy call from Felix Paulino. It backfires. So now there's 2 on and nobody out. Kendall Juist strikes out on the slider. Felix Paulino needed that. He needs to get his confidence back. He needs to get back into a groove. And sure enough, he would get out of the inning without surrendering any runs. Bottom of the third, Tobias Pennock with a single into left. Pennock has rotated between AA and AAA as well this season, and he's hit the ball well wherever he's gone. Hudson Haskin with a single into left field. His progression has been really fun to see the past few seasons. He's a guy who I think could be a major leaguer in a year from now. Anthony McGathick now at the dish, another player who really excels against lefties. Launches this one into left field. That's going to drop for a hit. Pinnock decided to be cautious, make sure it wasn't caught. So since he decided to play it safe, he's not going to be able to score, and the bases are now loaded. A major opportunity here for Willie Calhoun with 2 outs. This one is lined over the glove of the second baseman, and that's going to drop for an extra base hit. 1 run scores. 2 run scores. McGathick headed home. The throw would have been in time, but it's offline. A bases clearing double for Willie Calhoun, and we are tied at 3. This game just got real interesting. On to the top of the 5th now, still tied at 3, as Felix Paulino will force the flyout, and that'll end Paulino's day. Had a sloppy first inning, but in the past 4 frames, he has not allowed any runs, so overall, not a terrible outing by any stretch. On to the top of the 6th now, Julio De Los Santos is in for the Tides. As you can tell, both offenses have really not done anything other than those couple innings where they scored in spurts, as De Los Santos will walk Kevin Padillo. So that'll bring up the veteran catcher Buster Posey, who is now a member of the Tampa Bay Rays organization, and he's going to go down on the high splitter. Posey's certainly a shell of what he once was, but hey, he's still a contributing player, and technically Buster Posey's playing against Yadier Molina today, since Molina is on the Tides. De Los Santos would strike out the following batter, so that'll end the inning. Good frame of work from Julio De Los Santos, and we will go into the bottom of the 6th inning. Game still tied at 3. Tyler Sir, I hope I pronounced his name right, is in for the Bulls. So Domingo Robles ended up pitching 4 innings. They had another guy pitch the 5th. He did pretty well, and that brings us here to Sir in the 6th as he fools Cedric Mullins on the high 4-seam fastball. And both offenses are just completely ice cold right now. Jordan Cabrera now up. He goes down looking on the splitter. Julio De Los Santos is still in, still pitching at a high level. Jamie Omelos now up with 2 outs. It's out one high and very deep. Back at the track, at the wall, it is caught. I was trying to play that like it was a home run. Nice play by Tobias Pinnock. 2 shutout innings from Julio De Los Santos. And we go to the top of the 8th. Will Brooks is in for the Tides. He has been unbelievably good this year, part of the Anthony Santander trade with the Cubs this past offseason. He's a guy who, if he keeps playing well, he's going to be a major leaguer very early next season as he starts the inning, striking out low on the high slider. Kendall Juiste now 1-2. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Goes down on the changeup. Will Brooks doing what he does best, and that's striking out batters. Daniel Asmina, another international free agent, is in for Durham here in the bottom of the 8th. He has a potential, one of the best relief pitching prospects in all of baseball, as Anthony McGathick opens up the inning with a single. Durham has not scored since the first inning. Norfolk has not scored since the 3rd inning. Something has to give at some point. Willie Calhoun now, who has all 3 RBIs up with 1 out, grounds that one right to first, and another bad throw. Just like the last game, we saw a double play opportunity completely wasted because of a bad throw from first base. Wouldn't really matter, though, because the next batter, Santiago Rivera, would ground into a double play to end the inning. So the game remains tied at 3. Still no sign of life from either offense, and we go to the 9th. Matthias Hundertwasser is in for Norfolk. Pitched a little bit in the big leagues this season. He was pretty solid. He's been dominant in AAA, and I think he will be a permanent big leaguer as soon as the beginning of next year. Buster Posey with 1 out, shopping gap. The old man showing he still has it, as he kind of needed a wheelchair to roll into second there, but he is going to be safe. So Posey is now on. That'll bring up Pedro Diaz, who lines that one past 3rd. Posey is going to not go home. He probably would have been safe, even though he is slower. The throw was offline. We'll see if he regrets that decision. Eric McDonald now. Runners on the corners. 1 out. He goes down on the slider. Nice pitch from Hundertwasser, trying to get out of a little bit of a jam here. And then Jordan Cabrera, 1-2, gets fooled by the inside slider. Matthias Hundertwasser has to be fired up, getting out of that inning. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. The Tides are going to go for the walk-off. 1 on, 2 outs for Xavier Edwards, who's had a pretty rough day. He's 0 for 4. He does get that one to drop in the left. So a base hit probably wins the game, you would think. It's going to be Hudson Haskin, who is up at the dish. Lines that one nicely into center, but it is caught. So this game is going into extra innings. Keep in mind the extra innings rule does apply to the minor leagues, so both teams will start with runners on second base. Jamie Omelas opens up the inning, striking out. As you can see, Matthias Hundertwasser still in the game, still pitching well. Kendall Juiste grounds this one to first. Good play. And the Tides get out of the inning, not allowing any runs. So they're going to start the bottom of the 10th with a runner in scoring position. They have a real easy opportunity to end this game. 2 gone for Willie Calhoun. The offense has not done a whole lot yet in this inning, as this one is hit into foul territory, and the catch will be made. Nice grab by the left fielder. 3 shutout innings from Daniel Asminov, and we go to the top of the 11th. Hideki Asuncion is in for the Tides. He is the team's closer, but he was the only loose pitcher, so he has to be in the game. Peter Owens, the first batter, draws a walk, so that'll bring up Kevin Padillo, who had the 3-run homer earlier. That one goes off the pitcher's mound. Edwards tags second. The throw to first is in time. Great defensive play by Xavier Edwards, turning the double play pretty much on his own. And we go to the bottom of the 11th, still tied at 3. Federico Fernandez is in for the Bulls, as the Tides are going to make a few changes. Tijuan Forbes is in as a pinch runner for Willie Calhoun, and Christian Dominguez II will enter as a pinch hitter for Santiago Rivera. The Tides trying to get some new blood in there. Dominguez won't be the one to capitalize, as he's going to weakly fly out into shallow right center for the first out of the inning. Forbes is obviously unable to tag up, as that'll bring up Cedric Mullins with 2 away. The Tides are going to need a base hit here, and Mullins rips it nicely into right field. But the right fielder literally does not have to move a single muscle to make the grab. I'm convinced both of these offenses are allergic to scoring. The Bulls still have not scored since the first, and the Tides still have not scored since the third. Forbes and Dominguez will both stay in. Adrian Almeida is going to be summoned out of a bullpen here in the top of the 12th for Norfolk. Will this be the inning Durham finally gets on the scoreboard? It might, as Cabrera singles into center. Hudson Haskin completely misses it. Then the right fielder also completely misses it. That's Mullins. And that's going to be a triple for Cabrera. That was textbook awful defense. So now it's 4-3, and Miguel Figueroa is in the bottom of the 12th. Former member of the Orioles organization. Had a pretty bad season in the majors, but has been killing it in AAA. As Xavier Edwards is going to fly out to left. Cedric Mullins is going to try to tag up. Risky call, and he will not be tagged. Again, the throw is in time, but it was also offline. Heads up base running from Cedric Mullins, and now the game is tied at 4. Hudson Haskin up 1-2, strikes out on the slider. So both teams score in the 12th, but the problem is they scored the same amount, which means this game is headed to a 13th inning. Roberto Gonzalez is in for Norfolk. He's mainly a starting pitcher, and he is the team's long reliever currently. But the Tides are thinking, hey, we might be here a while if the game keeps progressing like this. Gonzalez does get out of the 13th easily, not allowing a run. So now they can end it off in the bottom of the 13th. And this has to be the inning where they do it, right? Tijuan Forbes is up with 2 away, high and deep in the center, but it is caught by low. So we will now head to a 14th inning. This game literally may never end. Roberto Gonzalez obviously still in. I imagine he's going to be in for a while. Buster Posey singles into left. That will score a run. It is now 5-4. I think Posey got upset, but I called him an old man earlier, so he's going to make me pay for it there. And now we go later in the inning. 2-1, 1 away for McDonald. Grounds it to third. That'll be a 5-4-3 double play. Dominguez to Forbes to Sixto. And we go to the bottom of the 14th. Can Norfolk score a run to keep the game alive? 2 away for Cedric Mullins. That one is high and somewhat deep in the left center. But it will be caught, and the ball game is finally over after 14 innings. The Durham Bulls will take this one 5-4 over the Norfolk Tides. The Tides used almost their entire bullpen outside of Mike Nikorak, and Nikorak got injured warming up, so he wasn't even available. The pitching for both sides was pretty good. Both offenses were pretty, I would say, lackluster for the most part. So now let's talk about the big league team, and obviously the main storyline at the moment is Max Muncy's recent injury. As I said, it's not a serious injury. He's only going to be out for a week or two, so he's totally fine going into the playoffs, assuming we do get in, but we want to make sure his finger heals and everything is all good. So we do have to call someone up to replace his roster spot, and we're going to call Grayson Rodriguez, who I think is ready for a major league opportunity. He's a 78 overall. He's pitched pretty well in AAA, and I want to see what he can do. Jalen Miller will now be the leadoff hitter with Muncy out, and we're going to see more Yerman Mercedes, more Liam Bumaye. Ryan Mountcastle might have to play against righties and lefties now instead of just righties. And then this is what the pitching rotation will look like. Since there's not an open spot in the starting rotation, Rodriguez will be a long reliever right now. But I did want to give Rodriguez a start, and I figured, you know, Max Meyer's not doing all that well this year. His ERA is into 6s. Why don't we replace one of Max Meyer's starts with Grayson Rodriguez? So I simmed 3 games. We went 2-1 in that span. Now that we have over 81 wins, the team will officially, no matter what happens, finish over 500 this season, which is quite the accomplishment, considering the first 2 seasons of this series, the team won 57 and 64 games respectively. So here's a look at Grayson Rodriguez, one of the most talented pitching prospects in baseball. He hasn't been per se dominant this year in AAA, but he's been pretty good. And I think giving him a late season opportunity here in the majors could be a pretty good opportunity for his development. Let's take a look at both lineups here for the Orioles and the Yankees. The Yankees are fighting for a wild card spot. I don't think they'll catch Baltimore in the division race, but they need all the wins they can get here. So they have a lot to play for. First batter of the inning is Ian Ordonez, 1-1. That one is going to go into right. Aristides Aquino chasing after it, and he makes a tough grab at the wall. So Grayson Rodriguez's first at bat as a pitcher ends up being pretty eventful. Jason Dominguez now 1-2. That's nasty. Completely fooled him on the inside curveball. First of many career strikeouts for Grayson Rodriguez. We know he has nasty stuff. It's just a matter of him staying consistent and avoiding walks. Gleyber Torres goes down on the high and inside curveball. Really strong inning for Grayson Rodriguez, going down 1-2-3, getting 2 strikeouts as well. And we go to the bottom half of the inning. Luis Gil is in for the Yankees. His ERA is hovering around 12, albeit a small sample size. So he's pretty much doing the exact opposite of what he's currently doing in real life, which is absolutely dominating for the Yankees. Louis St. John up 2-2, lines this one into right for a single. St. John has been a little bit cold to start the month of September. His average has crept down a little bit, still hitting around 270 though, which I think is a really good number for him. But he has been a little bit slow this month. Anthony Rizzo now singles into center. Rizzo has not slowed down. Since the Orioles acquired him at the trade deadline, he's been one of the best hitters in the major leagues. He continues to still be unbelievable. 2 on, 2 out for Mountcastle. Grounds that one to short. Ordonez flips it over to DJ LeMahieu at second. So the Yankees do get out of the jam, and we go to the second inning. Luke Voit is up. He's going to draw a walk, so the perfect game for Grayson Rodriguez ends. I know that was a totally realistic expectation. But he does force DJ LeMahieu to ground into a double play the very next at bat. Good work from Rodriguez with 2 shutout innings, and we go to the bottom half of the inning. Still tied at 0. Marco Luciano with 1 on and 1 out. Weekly grounds to third, and Duhar to LeMahieu to Voit, and the Yankees will turn the 5-4-3 double play. Although Luis Gil has had a rough season, he's been so far pretty good today. Giancarlo Stanton is up in the third. Welcome to the big leagues, rookie. Giancarlo Stanton with a bomb into left field, and the Yankees are on the board, his 20th of the year. So New York will strike, and it is now 1-0. Ian Ordonez now up shortly after, and he launches a nuke, this time into right. The Yankees will now make it 2-0. Although I think Grayson Rodriguez is still pitching pretty well today. He's only allowed 2 hits. Both of them have been home runs, and that's how the Yankees have the lead. Bottom 3, runner on, 1 out for Adley Rutschman. Yet another double play. The Orioles are not struggling to get runners on base. They're struggling to do anything with runners on base. Top 4, Gleyber Torres strikes out again. Torres is a free agent this offseason. Considering he was on the trade block, I don't think the Yankees are going to bring him back. Would he be a good fit in Baltimore? We talked about it in a few previous episodes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Bottom 4, LSJ opens up the inning with a strikeout. And Luis Gil is quietly dominating. I know he's been really bad this year, but the Orioles lineup has really struggled. Now, Anthony Rizzo hasn't struggled. He has 2 hits today, and he has still been one of the best hitters in the entire major league since the trade. But everybody else isn't really doing anything. Ryan Mountcastle hits this one into left center. So maybe now that I called out the lineup, maybe they're actually going to do some damage. Mountcastle with a double. Rizzo slides safely to third. The Orioles have 2 runners in scoring position. They cannot mess this opportunity up. They've already choked too many times with runners on base within the first 4 innings today. And Yerman Mercedes with 2 outs grounds it to short, and the Orioles still are unable to score. The O's have gotten base runners in all 4 innings so far. You'd think they'd score at least in one of them, but that has not been the case yet. Gary Sanchez goes down in the low changeup, and Grayson Rodriguez is still pitching really well in this game. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him. If you're an Orioles fan, you have to be super encouraged. He does walk Giancarlo Stanton. I guess Stanton has been his kryptonite, but most pitchers' kryptonite is Giancarlo Stanton, or at least prime Stanton. I guess he's not in his prime anymore. Clint Frazier grounds out to short. Luciano makes the play. So it remains 2-0. Rodriguez's pitch count is starting to get a little bit higher. It'll be interesting to see if he stays in the 6th inning. Aristides Aquino recently called up from AAA with 1 out. Gets that one past the diving glove of Ian Ordonez for a single into center. Aquino hit 27 home runs with the AAA Norfolk Tides. Doesn't have one yet in the majors, but hopefully he will soon. Adley Rutschman now the 2-time All-Star with 2 away. Bloops this one into left, and it is caught. Another inning, another base runner, and another goose egg on the scoreboard. And the Orioles still are not able to get any runs across. Grayson Rodriguez is still in here in the top of the 6th, and that might be a mistake, as the leadoff bat, Ian Ordonez, goes deep into right, his 2nd home run of the ball game, and it is now 3-0. Quite the showing from Ian Ordonez. You may remember that he had a pretty big beard early in his career, but since he's on the Yankees, yeah, that thing came off real quick. So Grayson Rodriguez will be taken out of the game. He only allowed 3 hits, and, that's pretty good. The only problem is they were all home runs. But other than that, I was really impressed with Rodriguez. I think he had a great outing. Colin Poche will enter. Poche is quietly having a dominant season, 1.88 ERA, even though that's only in 24 innings. He has still been really good, and I don't really think we've talked about him enough. He does walk Gleyber Torres. That'll bring up Luke Voit with a mammoth shot into left field. 2-run blast for Voit, and the Yankees will now make it a 5-0 game. 3 runs here in the 6th for New York. The pitching change might have actually hurt. Maybe that's how good Grayson Rodriguez was doing. DJ LeMahieu now lines that one into left. Yeah, really, ever since the Orioles took Rodriguez out of the game and put Colin Poche, a really good reliever, in, the Yankees' offense has been, well, better, to be honest. Giancarlo Stanton does strike out, so Poche does get out of the inning, but not a great one there for the O's, as they do allow 3, and the score is now 5-0. Luis Gil is still absolutely dominating right now as he gets Anthony Rizzo to go down check swinging on the curveball. First at bat for Rizzo today, that does not see him reach base, and we go to the 7th. Kenyan Middleton is in for Baltimore, his ERA at 3.6. He's been a little bit disappointing since being acquired at the trade deadline, but he is still having a good season, as Ian Ordonez nearly goes yard for a 3rd time today. That one just did not have quite enough carry, but it did go off the top of the wall for a double. What an offensive showing for Ian Ordonez. The problem is, the rest of the Yankees lineup, for the most part, has not been great. Jason Dominguez will fly out to shallow left. Luciano makes the grab. Good inning for Middleton as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Ivan Cortez Jr. enters the game, and he lays down the drag bunt perfectly. Ivan Cortez may not have a great bat, but he can bunt and he can run. So the Yankees are going to take Luis Gil out after allowing a bunt. That's kind of odd. Jonathan Loaizaga is now in. He will face off against Aristides Aquino, who strikes out. The Orioles had another opportunity, but they failed. Good innings from Gil and Loaizaga, and we go to the top of the 8th. Edwin Diaz is in. Diaz has been, in my opinion, the best reliever in the majors this year. He has been unbelievably good, makes a great barehanded defensive play there. And with Taylor Rogers and Alex Colomé, both free agents at the end of the season, Diaz is probably going to have an even bigger role next year. He probably won't be as good, but that doesn't say much because he's been literally almost perfect this year. Adley Rutschman deflects that one off of the leg of Jonathan Loaizaga for a single. Loaizaga is a little bit banged up, but he's going to stay in the game. He'll be all good. Louis St. John now up. St. John had a hit in the first inning, hasn't done a whole lot since then. Grounds that one to second. The Yankees are going to try to turn 2, and they do. The Orioles have now had runners on base in 7 of the 8 innings, and they still have not scored. Aroldis Chapman comes in to finish this one off here in the bottom of the 9th. Nobody on, 2 away for Elliot Ramos, who has not done a whole lot today. Going to weakly fly this one out into right field. and it will be caught. And the Orioles get shut out on their home turf. I guess their home field, because it's not turf, but whatever. 5-0 win here for the Yankees. New York did not hit the ball a whole lot better than us. The only thing is, their hits were going out of the park. They had 4 home runs, 2 for Ordonez, who nearly had 3. Stanton had 1, Voit had 1. Our hits just kept staying in the ballpark, and we couldn't do anything with runners on base. Luis Gil had a great outing. Loaizaga and Chapman finish it off strong. Grayson Rodriguez gets the loss, but I'm very optimistic. I thought he pitched well in this game. I thought he had a strong debut. So we're going to simulate the next 5. 2 against the Yankees, 3 against the Braves. After that Atlanta series, we did receive some good news on the injury front, as Felix Rosa and Max Muncy are both healthy. In that span, we ended up going 2-3, which is not great, but oh well. We're 85-59. We're very close to clinching the division, which we might honestly do next episode. Hope everyone enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.